So, for our next partner presentation, I have the pleasure of presenting with Brad Terrell, who is the Vice President and General Manager of Digital Media of Netezza. Please welcome Brad.
Good afternoon. My name is Brad Terrell, and I'm here representing Netezza. And we're very pleased to be sponsoring today's event. And I'm also particularly pleased to be sharing the stage today with Brian Lesser, who in just a few moments is going to share some compelling success stories regarding how his media innovation group is leveraging Netezza's data warehouse appliance platform to solve some big data problems requiring terabyte scale data analysis in ways previously not possible. Now, I'd guess for many of you in the audience, this may be the first time you've ever heard of Netezza, so I'd like to just briefly explain why I hope you'll want to get to know us a little bit better. Now, as my predecessors on this stage have described, the advertising industry is undergoing a tremendous transformation. Today, there are thousands of cable channels that are fragmenting consumer attention. Similarly, there are thousands of new digital devices that are also competing for that consumer attention. And I'm referring not only to computers, but also to things like IPTVs, smartphones, digital set-top boxes, gaming platforms, wireless digital photo frames. It's a long and growing list. And advertising budgets are following consumer attention across these new digital channels. And all of these new digital devices are creating an explosion of data and a need to analyze that data, both so that advertisers can measure the ROI on their ad campaign spend, and also because analysis of this data enables advertisers to leverage direct response and predictive analysis techniques to achieve dramatic increases in campaign lift and ROI. So terabyte scale data analysis is the new weapon that's creating competitive advantage across the entire advertising value chain. And you might think of Netezza as the advertising industry's arms dealer. So what is a Netezza data warehouse appliance? Netezza has taken the concept of a relational database and instantiated it in hardware, taking what historically has been three separate technology silos, database technology, server technology, and storage technology, and reintegrating them. And by doing that, we've opened up opportunities to innovate across that entire technology stack and deliver an incredibly compelling value proposition. Over 100 times the performance of a traditional data warehouse at a fraction of the cost, with unmatched simplicity of deployment and operation. And what that means for everyone in this audience is that Netezza's simple and high-performance approach to terabyte scale data analysis enables you to better deliver the right message to the right person at the right time. And now Brian is going to share a few specific examples about how his media innovation group is doing exactly that.
Thanks. So we're very excited to have Brad help sponsor this conference, but we're also more excited to be partnering with Netezza to build out Zap, which I talked a little bit about before. So the problem that we all face as marketers, and particularly within agencies and advertisers, is that data lives in too many places. Just within a media agency, you've got data that lives in ad servers versus accounting systems versus analytic tools. And as I said before, that creates a fragmented view of the consumer, where you can't see the entire consumer journey across different publishers or even across different campaigns. And what we want to do at WPP is provide that single view. So we want to be able to see the viewer, the user, whether they're in the States or Europe, or whether they're on website A or B. And again, that helps us as marketers, and it also helps publishers because they can prove that display ads, as an example, in the top of the funnel are effective. And one of the other things that we absolutely know about data is that the last click and view-through attribution models are broken. We've been working with a broken system for 10 years. And so we know that advertisers are starting to think about this, and they know that, a lot of us that work with clients try to convince them that click-through rate is not the be-all and end-all, and view-through rate is not accurate. Because we know that click-through and view-through ignore 94% of every interaction that a brand has with a consumer. You're ignoring all of those interactions that you have when you look at view-through and click-through. So what we've done with Zap in partnership with Netezza, as Brad said, we needed an arms dealer because part of the reason these problems exist is that the industry didn't know how to store this much data. So we've partnered with Netezza to keep everything, which means we see every impression, every click, and we can start to build up accurate user paths. So what Zap allows us to do is gather all the data. And this allows us to see users across sites, agencies, and ad servers. It also allows us to deduplicate audience. So one of the really basic things that we struggle with every day is I'm buying network A and I'm buying network B, but how much overlap is there in unique usership across those networks? When we collect all the data through Zap, we can see that. And so we can say to an advertiser, you're seeing 65% overlap. And maybe that's a good thing or maybe it's not. But let's let the data tell us what's good rather than making artificial decisions as to how to plan out advertising networks as an example. So this allows us to model conversions according to an advertiser's rules. We no longer have to be restricted by last click or view through. We can actually see what the data is telling us and model out conversions according to those interactions with consumers. This allows us to measure the effectiveness of every variable and ultimately target and optimize better. So I'm going to give you a couple of examples of clients that we've worked with that are using Zap. One of them, and these are all clients of Group M. So one of them is a retail bank. And their objective with an online display campaign is to get people to sign up for checking accounts or savings accounts. One of the things, we ran this through B3 and we used Zap to support it. One of the things that we noticed right off the bat was their click-through rates and their view-through rates on the weekends were extremely low. So the client said to the agency, why don't we kill the campaign on the weekends because we're obviously not getting any conversions there. So we took a look at all the data, and what we found out was that a user had a much higher propensity to convert, meaning sign up for a checking account or sign up for a savings account, if they saw display ads on the weekends. So our hypothesis was, well, maybe there's a bit of a Cyber Monday phenomenon going on, which is when I'm trying to figure out which checking account to use, I'm going to do a lot of research on the weekend, but I may not actually click on the display ad, go to the site, and change my money over to, Bank A. And in fact, we told the client, you would be missing out on a lot of these conversions if you killed your campaign on the weekend. And what happened was they left it on the weekend. Our recommendation was to even heavy up. Another quick example is we work with a large auto manufacturer. And one of the challenges they have is that they run so many different campaigns that it's difficult to see the same user across multiple campaigns. So if I'm a large auto manufacturer, I may have 10 different model campaigns that I run. I also may have a branding campaign. I might have a DR campaign. I may have tier 2 or promotion